Right. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining this session on a Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Today is 25th of June, 2023. And we're going to be talking about marketing procedures and planning. This is a level 4 and 5 higher national diploma in business studies Pearson course. And today's lesson will be based on LO4, which is the learning outcome for developing a media plan to support a marketing campaign for an organization. So we're going to be talking about the media, we're going to be talking about the publicity, we're going to talk about the marketing campaign. So this is the agenda for today. The marketing campaign is very important and very important for the organization, because people want to know what the product is. People want to know what's the role and objectives of your brand. They get to know what is a product like, what type of product is there, how to increase the sales, what are the position of the brand, what is the image of the brand product. And this is very important, that the consumers get to know their product they want to buy, so that we get the message across. And it's very important that the message gets very effective, so that the customers, the consumers know about it, and they know about the benefits, they know about the features of the product, and they know where to look for, which marketing campaign they're going to look for. Okay, so they get to know everything about their product through the marketing campaign and through the publicity, so that they end up buying or not buying. Okay, so that's the most important thing. So you need to, when we are talking about the publicity, when we're talking about the marketing campaign, you have to, the organization has to be consistent. There have to be plenty of engagement, plenty of methods they need to be choosing from, traditional methods and non-traditional methods, and they should come up with an integrated marketing campaign, so that the people get to know the product and the services is going to provide. So first of all, we want to know what is the goal of the organization, what's the publicity goal, or what's the marketing campaign about. So we need to know what's the goal of the organization. Now, as you know, the goal is a desired future state that the organization attempts to realize in a given environment. So the goal is a broader, is a word that enhances the future, or is directed at the future state. It's a broad term, so that the organization prepares in the longer term what it's going to do, where it's going to survive, how is it going to do it, what's the intended plans. Okay, what's the intended plan of the organization, and to see what's it going to do. So what is a plan? A plan is something that an organization is going to do. It's a kind of a blueprint. It's a written kind of a document that prepares you for goal achievement. Okay, that specifies the necessary resources. For example, how much money you need to allocate for this particular campaign, what kind of time scale, what type of media channels you're going to use, what are the tasks, what are you going to, how are you going to get the return, what are the measures that you're going to measure your investment by, for example, return on investment. So the plan is a blueprint. In other words, it's a written down document to achieve your goals. Okay, and as we said, the goals are there for the future, and plan is a specific thing to how to achieve the goals. Right. So the plan is some kind of a direction in the shorter term, and the goal is a longer term. A goal is tells you in a broader sense what to achieve, and plan is how to achieve and what to achieve, and what tasks you're going to do, what type of investment you're going to invest in, what type of actions you're going to take. Okay, so that's what a plan is. It's a shorter term, and the goal is broader and a longer term for the organizations to achieve these objectives or the So we want to know what kind of promotion and mix we're going to use. Now these days, there's a lot of promotional mix. We can use a lot of tools. We can use a lot of mixture. We can use a lot of different types of promotional tools, for example, to engage consumers and persuade them to buy our products. So the main purpose of the the communication and advertising channel or is to create a relationship, build upon a relationship, and to create awareness in the customers and persuade them, engage them, make sure that they know about your product, and they don't necessarily end up buying in the shorter term, but once they are aware, they will end up buying because it's back of their mind. So we want to know, when we're talking about the promotional mix, we are talking about the type of advertising and sales promotion that we're going to be using. Either we're going to be using the type of advertising, the type of sales promotion, the promotion tools like personal selling and public relations, direct and digital marketing these days. What type of promotion are we going to be using? Okay, so let's talk about these, because there are these days newer marketing communication tools have come about because of the advent of the communication technology, IT, the internet. And so the factors have changed. The factors changing marketing communication have changed over the years because the advent of the advancement in communication technology, and we want to be sure that we're utilizing those communication channels. Okay, so marketing marketers can build upon these technologies to reach a lot of people within a shorter space of time, and they can interact with them, they can engage with them. We want to make sure that we use both traditional and the modern media to look at or to communicate with our future customers. We can do that online, mobile, social media, and we want to share with the consumers a lot of things that we are going to be planning on this. So we can use share channels as well. Okay, so let's look at this, the integrated marketing communication. What do we mean, and how we blend these mixtures of promotional tools? Now here you can see that the tool, the mixture, the marketing mix is consistent and clear, and making sure that what we want to do is we want to make sure that the campaign we are driving, the brand message we are delivering, it's clear, it's compelling, and the brand message gets through to people, making sure that we're using the right amount of sales promotion. We're making sure that we do it through the right advertising channel. For example, we're going to be using either personal selling or advertising methods, or what do we want to create, what do we want to get across. So when we are advertising, we are talking about the personal selling. When we are talking about the sales promotion, we are talking about the direct and digital marketing. And when we're talking about the public relations, we are talking about personal selling and direct and digital marketing. Okay, so this is a blend of a mixture of promotional tools we can use to get our message across. Okay, so let's go through them. Let's see what the promotional advertising, and what is it that it does, and how it's described. And the nature of promotional tools like advertising is used for a lot of people, for a lot of buyers, so that it reaches a mass of buyers at a low cost per exposure. In other words, it gets to people with minimum cost. The purpose of advertising is to reach masses with the lowest cost possible, and it builds a long image. It builds a long-term image of the product, and it stays in people's mind. It triggers a quick sale. It triggers in their minds, and it creates a sales. It has a public nature. Okay, the advertising has a public nature and is viewed as such. It's very expressive. It's very impersonal, and looks, quick and it reacts, and it affects people and persuades people. So that's what the advertising does, because that's the whole purpose, is to persuade people and create an image of the product in people's mind to ultimately buy the product later on. Okay, so we can use that at advertising promotional as a tool. Personal selling, another tool that we can use to promote our product. Okay, this person selling is direct, for example, direct to direct, person to person contact, where you talk to another person on a personal level, for example, you know, on a personal level, and creates a personal interaction. It creates a bonding, it creates a feeling, it creates a expressive mood, and you listen to other person, you respond, you ask the question, you build up a relationship, but it's expensive, it's slow, it's time consuming, it takes a long time, and it reaches to a lower number of people, because how much you know, one person can do personal selling, maybe in a day, you know, a couple of people he can see or she can see within a few hours, you know, and people get sick and tired of talking the same thing over and over again, and so therefore maybe it gets boring as well. But the thing with this is, it's a personal thing, it, you know, builds up relationship, but it's slow, expensive, time consuming, and doesn't reach a lot of people. Okay, the third promotional tool we can use is the sales promotion. Now, sales promotion, again, it you know, attracts consumer attention. It uses a lot of product offers and boosts sales. It looks at a wide range of tools, and it looks it, you know, it creates a kind of uniqueness, and it promotes quality. In other words, it you know, invites quick response. It's creating a lot of people's invites and rewards very quick response, but it's a short-lived effect. In other words, it doesn't stay long, it doesn't have a longer term effect, and it's similar to personal selling, but less effective than advertising or personal selling, however, but it builds up in a longer term relationship. Okay, sales terms. So you have promotion, but it's short lived. Okay, sales promotion doesn't go on forever. Okay, but it gets you a quick response, and you can see what type of products sell quickly in a shorter period of time. And it's very cost effective, it's very attractive for consumers, and you know, you can use a lot of different types of tools and explaining the qualities of our products. Another tool that you can use when creating a public marketing campaign is a public relations. Now, this is public relation is a kind of creating awareness, or it creates you know, when you want to create an image or promote some kind of company, for example, or a product. So you can create a public relation, so it reaches many different people very quickly, very economically, and very well thought out campaign. Okay, it creates a PR, public relation, effective, and it's very believable to readers. Like we have a public relations, so public relations, like you know, public relations campaign, and it reaches to people when they can look at it and see the company and product as a good and economical way of you know, thinking of this product. Another type of tool that you can use is direct and digital marketing. Digital marketing is again, it's very interactive, it's very reaches very many range of people. You can create a targeted integrated marketing campaign, or you can create a personalized one. It goes to immediate people immediately. It targets them quickly and effectively, and it can reach a lot of people. So this is a newer way of reaching people. So there are different tools that you can use when we're talking about the promotional tools. There are a lot of tools we can use. Okay, so it's very important that you look out what type of promotional tools you're going to use for your marketing campaign and marketing publicity and marketing. Okay, now when we are also talking about the promotion, there is two types of promotional strategy. It can be a push or a pull strategy. Now, the difference between a push and a pull strategy is when a producer wants to sell a product to the public. First of all, they sell it to the retailers and the wholesalers. These are the middlemen. These are the middle people who the producers, manufacturers, distributors, or the producer, in other words, who manufacture these goods. They sell their product not directly to the public, but they sell it to the wholesalers. These people are stockists, for example. Wholesalers are people who stock particular goods of particular manufacturers and producers. The main aim for the producer is to produce these goods and sell it to the wholesalers based on personal selling, based on direct selling, based on the trade promotion. So these people will give a promotion to the wholesalers, and they keep those products. Then the wholesalers will sell to the consumers, and the wholesalers and retailers will do their own sales promotion, advertising, or personal selling to consumers. Okay, so the pull strategy is different. Now the push strategy is different. So the push strategy is driven by the producer to the wholesalers and then to the consumers, whereas the demand pull strategy is the product is demanded by the consumer. They go to the retailers, they buy the product from them, and these producers or these retailers and wholesalers, they get in touch with the producer and ask, this is the producers, this is the public demand, that's what the producers will sell to the retailers. And this way, producers marketing campaign based on the public's demand. Okay, so the product is demanded by the public from the producers through the wholesalers and retailers, whereas the push strategy pushes the products from the producers to the wholesalers to the consumer. So it's a reverse. So therefore, we must distinguish between push and pull strategy when we want to promote our products. Okay. Now, how we can do that is we can look at the different advertising decisions. We can look at the different decisions by setting our publicity objectives. We want to make sure that the objectives are set and we have a budget in place. We have some money in place. And then once you got the budgets, when you got the money in place, you decide which message you're going to get through, what type of media you're going to go through, and then see the reaction of the consumers, whether they are willing to buy, or whether you create sales. And those sales, when you generate those sales, then you need to make sure that these investments or these advertised they are generating enough money for you. You have to evaluate how much sales you generated per advertising campaign, and you can do a kind of return on investment, return on your advertised products. Okay. Now, so therefore, it's very important that you get your return on advertised project. Therefore, it's you need to calculate a return on investment. Now, the advertising objectives, or possible advertising objectives of these are: number one is you need to be able to inform people, and second one objective is to persuade people, and the third one is to remind people. In other words, your advertising objectives should be informative, should be persuasive, and should be reminding people of the relationship. So when we are talking about the objectives of informing, they should be built upon a company image. Their main purpose is to build a company image. Their main purpose is to communicate customer value. They have to make sure that they are building a brand image. They're they are telling the public, they are telling the market about the new product. They are explaining what a product looks like, how does it work. It tells the public the new uses of the product and so on. Okay, so the informative, it tells about the product, what's the feature, what does it do, is it a new product, is it an old, is it existing, does it create an impression, does it what is the product able to do, right? The features of the product. So this is the objective of when we're talking informative advertising. Okay, and persuading is when you want to persuade people to buy. When you want to make people so that you encourage them to buy this product. This product is good for you. You switch over from another product and buy this one instead. Okay, so you're creating, in other words, you're creating a customer engagement, you're creating a customer brand loyalty, you're creating people to buy these products. Okay, so you are persuading them, whether it's true, whether it's not true about the features of the product, but the message is to persuade. Okay, so this is the second objective of the advertising. And the third one is you constantly bombarding people with the advertisement, and you are reminding them, you are triggering their mind all the time. You are in other words, refreshing their memory, because people will forget about the advert, they were switched off. So you need to continuously remind them and build the relationship and make sure that it brings you some kind of a sales at the end. Okay, so you're triggering their minds all the time. Okay, and it remains, once it triggers and remains in the mind of the people, then they'll try and realize that in the form of buying this product. Okay, methods of setting the advertising budget. So first of all, when we are advertising, we have to have a budget. Okay, and the tools we're going to be using are different. So you need to be able to make sure that you have the budget and the methods and the tools of advertising. So the budget's got to be very economical. It's got to be affordable. It's making sure that it's competitively priced. It's creating objectives. It's creating objectives of the campaign. It's affordable. It's a method that is affordable, and percentage of sales method, or objective and task method, or it's a competitively priced method. Which advertising are you going to set? Which advertising method or budgets you're going to get this advertising set? Okay, then we need to look at the advertising strategy. Now the strategy is very important, and what it means by strategy is you select the type of media that you're going to advertise in. You need to select the message, you need to create the message, you need to talk about the message that you're going to get through to people, to public, and make sure that the message creates a breakthrough in the clutter of other messages, and making sure that it's used rightly for the right type of people, making sure that the advertising and campaign is planned, it gets the message across. Okay, so this is what very important. And the type of selecting of the media that you're going to advertise, that the media is a kind of mode that you're going to send your message across to the audience. okay, and make sure that the advertising is done in the right manner. Otherwise, when it gets wrong and wrong message gets across, then it's going to create a lot of issues for other people and for the organization. Okay, so steps in advertising media selection are very important. So we must be able to select the right steps at the right time. We must determine who are we reaching, who are our customers, when are we going to advertise, how many times are we going to advertise, the frequency, in other words, and the impact of this advertising media. Okay, so you need to select media, making sure that the reach is you are reaching the right people at the right time, i.e. target marketing. You know, what kind of segments you are advertising to. Okay, how many times, the frequency and the impact of the advertisement is going to have on the audience. Choose among the major media types. You need to select a specific media vehicle and choose the media timing, what type of media timing, and when are you going to advertise, the slots of advertising, and so on. Okay, you need to look at the media types. Are you going to advertise in newspapers? You're going to advertise on the TV? You're going to advertise in the magazines? Or you know, what type of media are you going to be using? So if you're going to be using, for example, newspapers, what reach does it have? Is it a national newspaper? Is it a local newspaper? Do you need to advertise locally or nationally or internationally? You know, if you're going to, you know, you select this type of newspapers, you know, make sure that your advertisement is the right advertisement for the right type of newspapers. No use having an advertisement, you know, when you want to coverage a national campaign and you advertise it through local newspaper, regional newspaper, it's not going to get the message across. So there are advantages and there are disadvantages of using the newspapers. You know, the newspaper, so you need to select what type of people you're going to catch, you know, what type of market you're going to cover, what type of brand you're going to cover, and what time of timeliness and the flexibility and the campaign, you know, the budget you have for, because national newspapers are expensive, local newspapers are cheaper, and you know, people don't you know, very much look at the newspapers locally, and it has limited factor, limited what you call the impact, whereas the national have more impact, but they're expensive. Okay, but the problem with newspapers is there is very short life. They are very short very short life for them. They have poor responsibility or reproduction, in other words, poor reproduction quality, and they are small when they pass along. They have a small number of audience they can catch. Depends on the newspapers and their reachability. So you need to check their number or their check of audition or the number of the newspaper, you know, the reach and so on. Okay, direct mail, the second type of a major media tool or media type you can use is the direct mail. For example, direct mail, which is a high audience selectivity, flexibility. It has a personalization as well, but the problem is people see it as a junk mail. People see the direct mail as rubbish and they don't even look at it, and they'll probably throw these mail in the bin very quickly as soon as they receive. Okay, so you need to be looking at that. There are limitations, high cost. They have high cost as well, but most of them, the images. Okay, when we look at the media of magazines, for example, or radio or outdoor media, right, you need to look at the advantages and disadvantages as well. Radio media is good local acceptance, very low cost, and high geographic and demographic selectivity. You know, you need limitations, you know, something audio only, for example. people can't reach when they get beyond a certain reach of a limitation boundary. You know, they have maybe catchment area 20-30 miles. People these days have a low attention for them, fragmented audience. You know, people, they don't have a particular type of you know, audience. In other words, you know, they're fragmented. Sometimes they put on, sometimes people don't bother, and so on. So it depends on the, you know, magazines, for example, the type of magazines. What type of magazines? Is it a professional magazine, or is it academic magazine, or is it, you know, fashion magazine? So you need to look at these, because some magazines are very credible, some they have very prestigious, because economists, for example, will be advertising campaigns related to businesses that are highly competitive, and they're very selective, you know, and but they are costly, but they are you know, very costly. They are very long, and lead time is very long for them, because they have waiting lists for publicity and magazine. So you need to select a variety of major media types, and you need to check the profiles. You need to look at the disadvantages and the cost of advantages. And then once you decided your limitations, and once you prepared a campaign, once you launch the campaign, and it's you know, it's doing its job, then you need to be taking measures as to what type of return is it giving you. Is it giving you high return, or giving you less return, or medium return? How do you calculate the return on advertising investment? Now the advertising budget, how much are you spending on your campaign? How much are you spending on your campaign compared to your customers? And what are you compared to your sales, and so forth? So the net return on investment is important, and we can calculate your net return on advertising investment by dividing this cost divided by the cost of advertisement investment, okay, and the amount of return that it's going to give you. And you should regularly evaluate your communication so that you can look at your profits, you can look at your sales figure, you can evaluate, you can re-evaluate, you can prepare and revise your budget. Okay, so it's very important that you measure this return on investment. Okay, you must also look at the other agencies or advertising agencies. You look for smaller firms, you look at the larger companies, you look at the advertisement agencies, and assume and look at their planning, and look at their preparing and evaluating all these programs, and you can make sure that you organize your advertising accordingly. Okay, you can also when we are advertising, you need to look at the standardization, international advertising decisions, or look at whether you're going to locally advertise or nationally or internationally. It depends on the benefits and drawbacks. There are standards of advertisement, there are behavior, there are ethical issues, there are you know, when we are advertising internationally, you need to look at the language, you need to look at the culture, you need to look at the economic conditions, you need to look at the benefits, you need to look at the impact that's going to create. So you need to look at the how to coordinate your global advertisement campaign. Make sure that it creates you know, an image that is portrayed of the company, worldwide image, you know, and depends on the costs. Okay, so when we are looking the international standardization, you also need to look at the benefits and drawbacks of the advertisement, and make sure that they are done rightly. Okay, because there will be problems, there will be issues in advertising internationally, because you need to select different advertising people and different advertising media, costs, availability, the campaign, and you need to look at the laws, you need to look at the culture, you need to look at the regulations, the characteristics, people, customs, excises, or people's behavior, and so on. So you need to make sure that your advertisement, your strategy meets the diversity between countries one advertisement doesn't do for other countries, because you need to adapt these marketing campaign according to the local need and local to meet the diversity, to meet the local needs of a different country. So you make sure that the policy or make sure that the campaign is geared towards the local needs. Okay. Now let's look at the public relations function and the functions of PR. Now the PR is a public relations or the press relations, or the press agency. This is as we call them. Their function is to create an awareness in public. Their main idea, their main function is to create a kind of lobbying, okay, or awareness, or to create product publicity in the eyes of the public. And so you're telling people you are targeting a general publics for specific purpose, making awareness in the press. It could be to drive publicity, it could be to create public affairs, it could be to drive your investor relationship, it could be to lobbying other people, it could be a lobbying campaign, it can be product development or creating development awareness, and so on. Okay, public relations creates good relationship between the idea may be to build a good relationship between customers and investors, or it could be to look at the different types of organizations and promote products, and it could be to promote organizations, promote products, create relationship between consumers. It could be to invite new investors. It could be to, bring people together. So there are a lot of different functions of public relations, and you need to make sure what is it that you want to get across when we are talking about the creating public relations campaign. Is you want to build up interest between the organization and the communities or whatever. Okay, so there are different objectives of PR. Why are you creating, and how are you going to create, and what's the purpose? So mainly is to create an awareness and to build up relationship again with your communities, and creating an awareness, and make sure that the PR creates a good relationship, and it has a good awareness, good strong, it has a strong impact on the public because it's a cost effective. Okay, so why we do this PR campaign? It creates awareness, and it creates an awareness at a lower cost than advertising, than using a TV campaign or using other types of media. So it's a cheaper way of creating an awareness, building up a relationship between your organization and the consumers. Okay, so the very, very effective way of creating an awareness, but it's limited in the sense that it's not always possible to carry out this PR campaign, although it's very powerful and it's very effective, but we don't use it every day, we don't use it all the time, we use it frequently, we do now and then, and it creates a public awareness, but it's less costly though. Okay, however, it's limited and scattered use. Okay, how we can create news, or how can we create public relations? We can use by tools like news, special events, for example, or written materials, or we can use by audio-visual materials, or corporate identity materials, or public service activities, or press conferences, or like this. So it creates an image. Okay, so you can use that as your marketing, to build up a marketing image and so on. Okay, so all in all, what we talked about today, today's lesson is we looked at the promotional mix of tools used for communicating customer value, to building up your communication channels, or looking at the integrated marketing communication. We looked at the marketing mix of publicity. We looked at the, different decisions involved in developing advertising campaign, the tools that we can use for communicating our product with the, with the public. So this is what our lesson objectives were and we also, talked about how we can promote our products through using internet and using the media, using the different types of campaigns, hopefully we got the message which we set out to do. And going back our learning outcome, let's have a look at the learning outcome that we were going to cover. Okay, so we were going to cover a media plan to support a marketing campaign for organizations. So that's what we discussed. And the purpose of the marketing campaign, we talked about, different types of marketing campaigns, using different types of marketing media tools. We talked about the budgets, and we talked about the platform that you can use for communicating your features and for your product, and making sure that your product gets the message across to the right audience at the right time with the lowest possible cost. Okay, so any question at this time? Do you have any question for me? Are you okay with this, Ashika?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay, next week we'll be looking at the what you call them, your assignment. Okay, so for next week, you try and read the books, try and get onto your learning platform, and make sure that you are familiar with some kind of your reading. Okay, it always helps when you read, and it helps the lecturer to engage with you more better. Okay, so hopefully when you get your reading done, it's more interactive. You can look up at your references. There are a few references that you can go through and research about this type of topic. Okay, you can refer to ebooks and journals on Moodle. You can post any question that you have for me, and we will be talking about the assignment.
No, I haven't any question.
Okay, we usually be talking about 2 weeks to do the assignment when we are talking in the next lesson, and I'll go through the assignment, and usually you have to submit within the 2 weeks of completion of the unit and the delivery. Okay, so we'll speak to you soon, and have a good day. Thank you very much for joining. Bye-bye.